No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts for July 19th, 2023, AEW Boston, Massachusetts, for this epic showdown. Let's get right into it. A lot to discuss. Shout out to everybody that tuned in to the live stream. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that's watching this on demand as well. We kicked off the show with the FTW Championship on the line. Jack Perry versus the FTW champion Hook. Jungle Boy's music played. Tarzan Boy. No Jungle Boy. Then we had Jack Perry appear in a video. He was in the desert. He buried his boots in the desert, had a limousine pick him up. Then he arrived in the arena. He was dressed differently, leather jacket, long pants. He had Beethoven as his new entrance music. Different look, grew out his beard. Jungle Boy is now just plain old Jack Perry, acting like a complete heel, going to the outside of the ring, using the outside to gain the advantage. But then they were both on the apron, and Hook gave Perry the old T-bone suplex off the apron to the floor. The crowd chanted, "Holy shit." Perry regained control by sending Hook into the post. Then he gave him a draping DDT on the floor. Hook was barely able to beat the 10 count. And then Perry was taken to Suplex City by Hook. Perry ended up grabbing the referee, and while the referee was distracted, Perry gave Hook a low blow, went to the outside of the ring, and brought in the FTW Championship. He was going to use it, but the referee stopped him. However, something happened here with the referee. He got knocked down, and then Hook had the match won, but there was no referee. Perry then grabbed the FTW Championship. He hit Hook with the championship. And referee, of course, came to. Jack Perry, 1, 2, 3, got the win. He is your new FTW champion. I really don't care too much about the FTW title, but this needed to be done, I suppose, for Jack Perry's heel turn. He had to win this match, and it's Hook's first loss in AEW, which, again, don't really care about all that much. Like, it should be a bigger deal, but at least to me, just doesn't feel like anything special. Jack Perry, he's got the new demeanor. He kind of gives me Brian Kendrick vibes. I'm not sure if anybody else feels the same way, but he feels like heel Brian Kendrick in the Cruiserweight division in 2017. Doesn't really feel like a main event act, at least at this time. We'll see. It came off a little bit like he's trying too hard, like he's using every gimmick to try and get people to boo him, and it may work out, but it just felt like he was trying too hard. Anyways, it needed to be done with this win for Jack Perry to really get the heel turn into full motion. I also question if maybe the heel turn was done so quickly, like he just flipped a 180 and now he's just a completely different character. And I'm not exactly sure that I buy it. Joey Perez says maybe he'll destroy the FTW title. I mean, might as well. I mean, I think that would piss off Hook and Taz. Taz on commentary, of course, not too happy with this. And imagine that, like if Jack Perry destroyed the title. I actually like that I think that's a great idea. I like that better than the FTW title continuing to be a thing, because that's Taz's baby. So if Jack Perry destroys it, that's an insult to Taz, and that makes the feud more personal. The title means nothing. It's a prop. It is. We sometimes call the titles props, but in this case, the FTW title is a prop. We had footage shown of Chris Jericho having dinner with Don Callis, and then footage was shown of Callis and Chris Jericho arriving at the arena, but they would not give an answer if Jericho is part of Callis's family. We then had another dinner segment, this time with MJF and Adam Cole, the new best buddies. They were at a Chinese restaurant. MJF was acting like Hulk Hogan, bragging about body slamming Big Bill, claimed that Big Bill was 700 something pounds. They had some hot chicken or hot pork, whatever it was, and they needed some water. And as it turns out, the water was 100% alcohol. They got very drunk, and they ended up giving the waiter a double clothesline, which is their finishing maneuver. This was pretty entertaining, and they're really trying to make the most of this and stretch this out, which, hey, it's entertaining and people are liking it, so keep it going. We had the one women's segment of the evening. We had Britt Baker versus an enhancement talent, and match literally went like a minute. Britt Baker won, and that was it for the women on this show. Now, granted, Blood and Guts was taking up half the show, but I'm not sure if it would have been better to do something a little bit longer and meaningful, like Britt Baker in a squash match. Did we really need this on this show? Like, they want to have the women on the show in some capacity, but I almost feel like it would have been better to not have them on the show whatsoever if you were going to do so little with them. It just felt obvious. When you do this, it feels like you only did this so the women could have a segment on the show. Like, it just felt pointless. We had MJF and Adam Cole backstage with their pre-match promo, and they talked about it being lightning in a bottle. They vowed to win the tag team titles with that double clothesline, and they even got matching jackets and matching trunks for their match. They left to the ring, and Roderick Strong appeared with his neck brace, and he's still upset about all this, and I'm sure that this is going to play some sort of role in whatever happens that causes the Adam Cole and MJF breakup, which of course seems inevitable, but we'll get to that in just a few minutes here. We had our tag team match. We had MJF and Adam Cole with a remixed version of MJF's song, Adam Cole, Baby, added to it. They were up against Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Crowd was chanting double clothesline. And before things really got physical, we had a dance-off between the two teams. It was like Dancing with the Stars almost, because you had Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia doing a dance routine. And this was really the most sports entertainment thing that Daniel Garcia has done up to this point. MJF was doing some dancing, and then Adam Cole was doing some hip thrusts. And yeah, it was something. I have to say it was very entertaining. I'm sure some people probably hated it. Maybe AEW fans thought it was too WWE-like, and WWE fans might think it's copying WWE, but I enjoyed it. Matthew clearly did not enjoy it, but it's entertainment. And then, of course, people will say, well, you're putting your world champion in a comedy segment. Like, it doesn't bother me. I mean, they're doing this buddy routine with MJF and Adam Cole, and they're just making the most out of it and seeing where it can go, trying different things. Like, why not? We had these guys do a tag team match. It was pretty straightforward, but maybe the highlight of this was that when MJF and Adam Cole started to make their comeback, MJF was called on to do a dive to the outside. Now, MJF doesn't do dives. He's a smart man. He works smarter, not harder. But he got the nerve and he finally did it. The crowd went absolutely crazy for this. But then they tried to do the double clothesline. Sammy Guevara countered with a double Spanish fly, but could not put them away. And eventually, Cole and MJF were able to hit the double clothesline, massive pop, and they picked up the win. I forgot to mention that Chris Jericho was on commentary for this match, and when he came out there, he had the Judas music stopped. Fans sang it anyway. And then afterwards, Jericho got on the stage, was very upset. Sammy Guevara and Danny Garcia just walked right past him. They're continuing to tease that the Jericho Appreciation Society might be on its last legs. Good stuff here all around. I like continuing the Jericho story, and we had some entertainment with this tag match. But there was a little bit of an issue after the match was over, and I brought up this inevitable breakup. Adam Cole grabbed the AEW Championship, and MJF turned around, and he was furious. He snatched it away. Adam Cole said he was just trying to give it to MJF, and crowd chanted, "Hug it out," and that's what they did. They hugged, and all is right for now. FTR, the tag team champions, came out there, got in the ring, had a stare off, and we got the confirmation that the tag team title match will take place on Collision, I believe a week from this Saturday, July 29th. Yeah, 29th of July. There'll be the tag team title match, and that could very well be when Adam Cole and MJF have their breakup. But yeah, I very much enjoyed this. And yes, MJF and Adam Cole managed to win the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament. We had some matches hyped up for Rampage. The Best Friends were backstage. Darby Allin, Nick Wayne, several matches coming up. They're doing Royal Rampage this Friday, which makes sense since they have the two rings, and that's actually going on right now as I speak. You'll be able to check out spoilers at nodq.com. All right, now it's time to talk about Blood and Guts. As you guys know, Blood and Guts, it's a violent match. It's been a violent match for the few times they've done it, and with Jon Moxley in there, you know damn well it's going to be pure carnage. And that's exactly what it was. We had Kenny Omega and Claudio, the two, I guess you want to say, workhorses, although you could argue everybody in this match is a workhorse, but the two guys that can go the distance, the cardio guys, starting off the match, and they went back and forth. Pac then came in. Bad guys, of course, win the coin toss as the norm and really how it should go. So the heels always have the advantage. Pac was in there. They brought up how Pac's nose was broken during the Best of 7 series. He's looking for revenge. Adam Page came in and did a moonsault off the top rope onto Claudio. Page and Omega, former tag team champions, were working well together in there. But then Jon Moxley entered the match, and once Moxley got in, the violence definitely turned up. Moxley had forks. Just like Abdullah the Butcher, he started stabbing Page and Omega with the forks. He was biting Omega's fingers. He brought in a bag of broken glass. Nick Jackson came in and he drop-kicked Moxley, who landed on the glass. Nick was on fire for a while, but then Moxley slammed Nick into the glass. Then Omega got suplexed onto the glass. Wheeler Yuta came in with a steel chair. Matt Jackson was next. Moxley got busted open, and the announcers even joked about it, saying that Moxley bleeds every day that ends in Y. Very true. Takeshita entered. He had a chair. Don Callis showed up on commentary. And then Moxley pulled out a bed of nails. Omega got drop kicked into this bed of nails, then slammed on it. And the crowd was going crazy for this. They were oohing and on. Ibushi was the final man for the Elite. Kota Ibushi, he came in. Yuta tried to attack him on the stage, but Ibushi fought him off, got in the ring, and Moxley got dropped onto the nails that he brought in, and then Ibushi delivered a standing moonsault to Moxley, who was on the nails. Moxley's back was all bloodied up. Wheeler Yuta then climbed to the top of the cage. Matt Jackson went after him. Matt did the Northern Lights suplexes to Yuta on top of the cage. Tried to send Yuta off the top, but Yuta countered with a DDT on the top of the cage. And then Yuta climbed back down and got into the ring. No big cage bump off the top this year. They did not do that. They teased it. In my opinion, they should not have teased it, because then you get fans thinking something crazy is going to happen, and it didn't. I don't think it really mattered too much for the live crowd, but I think I would have just avoided going on top if you weren't going to do like that big spot. They got back into the ring. Crowd was chanting, "We want tables," and they got a table. They chanted, "We want fire," but no fire in this one. Maybe that was one of those things that was banned from AEW, although I did not see fire listed on it. But no fire in this match. I don't think we've seen fire since Cody Rhodes was in AEW. Maybe I'm wrong. Pac started climbing up the cage and then ended up putting Matt through the table with a double stomp. Everybody got up and they did the thing where there's the face off and everyone starts brawling. They all started hitting their big moves one after another. Then the Blackpool Combat Club applied multiple submissions to the Elite, but Ibushi was able to step up to the plate. He broke up all of the submissions one by one. Crowd started chanting for Ibushi. Claudio and Pac ended up having a miscommunication, and that led to Pac leaving. He walked out of the match, which was the turning point here. You had the Elite taking advantage of this. Buckshot lariat to Yuta, BTE trigger. The Elite then handcuffed Jon Moxley to the ring rope. Don Callis saw the writing on the wall, and he called his man out. He got Takeshita out of the ring, and it was 3-on-5. And at this point, it was just a matter of time. Wheeler Yuta was choked out. The Elite used a steel chain to choke out Yuta. Yuta passed out, and Moxley, who was stuck, he was handcuffed. He had no other choice but to surrender. He gave up on behalf of Wheeler Yuta, and that was the end of the match. The Elite, the Golden Elite, picked up the win in the 2003 Blood and Guts match. It was a hell of a spectacle. I don't know if it was better than last year's match. Last year's match was crazy, and they did do a few cool things. One thing I forgot to mention, when Matt Jackson was still on top, he dumped some thumbtacks into the ring, and that led to Claudio and Pac being back body dropped onto the tacks. That was maybe the most creative thing I've seen in this match. like we've seen the bed of nails and the thumbtacks we've seen many times, but I like the dumping them from the top. I thought that was very creative. And all in all, it was just a very entertaining bloodbath. And again, if it's not your cup of tea, then why were you watching it in the first place? Like, going in that it's going to be very violent. So for those of you that tuned in and wanted to see a bloodbath, that's what you got. And I thought they definitely delivered in that regard. All in all, Dynamite was a great show. Not perfect. Still a few questions I have, like regarding Jack Perry. But all in all, pay-per-view quality match with the blood and guts. Can't really ask for more. I give the show a solid A. One of the best Dynamites, if not the best Dynamite of the year. Definitely worth checking out, unless you're not a fan of the violence. If you're not a fan of all that, then avoid it like the plague. But all in all, hats off to everybody for going crazy for this match and giving the fans the spectacle that they showed up for. And they drew a big crowd, like for AEW standards at this point, close to 10,000 fans, which is way better than what they've been doing. Clearly, it's a draw for AEW, and they delivered. And I heard from people that were at the show, and they absolutely loved it. So AEW gave their audience what they wanted. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, Blackpool Combat Club going to be pissed at Pac and Don Callis. Thank you for the super chat. And yeah, this gives Blackpool Combat Club an out. They can say the two guys that were not part of our group let us down. We didn't have Bryan Danielson. They have an excuse for losing. That's for sure. So that was well done to give BCC an out as to why they lost the match and things didn't go the way they wanted. All in all, I enjoyed it very much. A nice comment here about having spaghetti when Mox started using that fork, lost his appetite. Well, there you go. I enjoyed it, and my hat's off to everybody involved. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. I appreciate your viewership and support. As City by the Bay says, the grind continues. We got more content coming up on the website. I got some new videos I'm planning to put up. I'm going to be doing top fives again. Top five, whatever, whether it's theme songs, finishing moves, matches. I'm going to be doing some new top five videos coming up. Stay tuned for that. Lots of content coming to the No DQ channel. The only thing I need from you guys at this point is to spread the word. Tell a friend. Anybody you know who watches wrestling, have them check out the YouTube channel. It would be very much appreciated. Take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you this Friday night after SmackDown. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.